Alright, welcome everyone. This is a review of an Ideal Thermo-Strip. It's a wire stripper. It uses two heating elements on the end of the pinchers to safely strip small or any size wire without damaging the actual copper wires inside. If you've ever used a pocket knife or anything, or even the actual strippers to actually strip a wire, you'll notice that you've most likely broken some of the small wires, or if you're using solid wire, you've scored your other wire, and that's not necessarily a good situation, especially if you're going to crimp it around a screw, say, for a light switch or an outlet. But this eliminates that scoring or breaking of the copper wires. I'm going to demonstrate it on some tiny little USB wires and give you an idea of what you can expect. So if you'll notice the dial on the top of it, it goes from low to high, 1 through 10. I have it set around 4, and if you go up any much past 4, the elements on the end of this pincher tool will actually glow red hot. Now I would assume that would be for thicker casings, larger gauge wire. That won't be necessary for these little USB wires. I'm going to set it at 4 and see how that works. Just place your wire in as far as you want it. Give a little squeeze. That's all that's necessary. Let it cool a little bit and pull it off. This is actually kind of a higher quality USB cable because the red and the black, the ones that was used for power, are actually quite thick. This was a shielded cable too. I just cut it off for the purposes of the video. It's not necessary. Okay, we'll go to the data wires, the green and the white. They're quite thin. A little pinch, let it cool, and pull it off. If you can see that, pretty small. Yeah, you can see that. Just like that. No damage to the copper wires. And that temperature setting was just an accident, but it seemed to, correctly an accident. It seemed to work just fine. Just experiment with it. Twist your wires up. They're ready for. You have to be careful with USB wires. Data wires are known to be coated, so before you would ever want to solder these to something or tin them up to other wires, just hit them with a lighter. It's pretty simple, and just make sure that if they were coated in something that you delaminate the whatever they use, some kind of clear poly or something. But just make sure if you ever try to power a iPhone with one of these that you've taken apart, if you don't supply a small voltage to one of the data wires, you'll never get your iPhone to power up. That's how the iPhones know that they're trying to be charged, is because there's a small voltage going across the data pins, and I don't know what that voltage is, but probably 4, give or take. Okay, well, that's just a quick little demonstration of the Ideal Thermo-Strip. Let's see, what model is it? Number 45133B. I'm going to turn this all the way up so you can see the elements glow. It takes just a second, and it's quite an impressive little tool. But this is a must if you're going to do any specialized soldering, or with with wires designed to carry an exact amount of current, like you're working on amplifiers or anything that's technically perfect. Because when you go to stripping wires with a pocket knife, or even mechanical strippers, and you go to breaking wires, well, there's a resistance change in the solder. It can cause the wire to heat up, cause components to burn out, especially in solid state stuff. So I recommend getting one of these. Alright, well that's about as simple as it gets. There's really not a whole lot more I can do with the demonstration of the tool. It is what it is. They come with different, whatever you want to call them, handles, pinchers, grippers. They come with different shapes and different sizes for different applications. That's just the one that I had that came with that. It's great. You know, you have to have it if you plan on not breaking any wires, cutting with a knife. I've cut wires with knives all my life, and it's hard to do it. You have to take a lot of time, be extra careful to not score a wire or break one. I don't, work on amplifiers or TVs or anything like that, but if you did, you have to have one. You can't do it. Use a pocket knife. And mechanical strippers too. The ones that they're designed to clamp down on it and they pull the wire apart. They'll always, you can set them and you can adjust them, but they will eventually, you'll start breaking wires, especially when you go the ones that are universal that work on all different size wires. Well, they'll work fine for basic applications and making a lamp in your house or something, but for something technical that requires a proper resistance, it's not adequate. So the Ideal Thermo-Strip, whatever model number I said it was, 133B, it's fantastic. So I hope you learned something from this. Thanks for watching.